Welcome or welcome back to the Variety Pack Podcast. I'm your host Rashad, and y'all know what time it is. We back at it, this time with Boruto, Two Blue Vortex, Chapter 16. So, without further ado, let's start the show. Okay, so the chapter starts off with a flashback of Boruto and Kashi and Koji. We're seeing, Boruto, he's training, and we find out that Boruto has mastered space-time ninjutsu. So, after that, he starts, training and practicing the Flying Rising. Then we see how, Boruto has put his own spin on the legendary jutsu. We see the differences between how his work versus how Minato's work. So I'm proud, man. I'm proud. And I know a lot of people are happy that we finally, we see and understand how Boruto learned the Flying Rising, because there was a lot of questions like, oh, how did Boruto learn this? Who taught him? Yada, yada, yada. So now we see as a fandom, he's putting in the work. So yeah, I love that, man. And I know Minato looking down and proud of his grandson, like, yeah, that's my boy. He put his own spin on, my legendary jutsu, man. So yeah, if I'm Minato, I'm proud of my grandson right now, man. And me as a big fan of, Boruto in general, I'm just hyped, seeing my man grow and getting better, and yeah, man, I'm proud of my boy Boruto, man. And moving on. So they go back to the hideout. Then we see Boruto, he asks Kashi and Koji, if you could see both good and bad futures, wouldn't it be better to tell everyone to have them help us? Kashi and Koji responded, it's ironic. The more people that know it, the nature of the future will change. Once you know a future, you can no longer act the same as before. It will branch off in many directions and make it harder to predict. Saying it's best for the rest to not know anything, and it's the duty of we singularities of fate to aid from the background the paths to the good futures. And when he says singularities of fate, he says the more futures you know, the greater you diverge from the track called fate, and you become a singularity. It's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, man, it's best for us to just aid from the shadows without telling anyone, but aid from the shadows to make sure the good futures come to pass. And I can see, where Kashi and Koji's coming from, because the more people you tell, it's like, yeah, it's going to start muddying the waters, man. It's going to start muddying the waters. So I totally get where he's coming from. And Kashi and Koji, he tells Boruto that you have become a singularity like myself. And he says sooner or later, Ada will likely see this conversation. And then What do we get? Boom. Ada is watching. Man, boy, man, oh man, that Senrigan is something, you hear? That Senrigan is something, baby. So, we switch over to Sarada, Sumire, and Ada. Sarada is asking Ada any luck on Boruto, and Ada tells her he's not saying much. Cause Kashi and Koji was doing like 95% of the 95% of the talking. And she says, it feels to me like he's doing it to protect the both of you. And Sarada, she hears this, and she's still 10 toes down, wanting to help Boruto. We gotta help him. And she wants Sumire and Ada to come along with her. But Sumire, she's like, you know what, Sarada, I don't think we should chase Boruto. And Sarada, she's like, she don't want Boruto out there fighting against the Shinju by himself. She's scared for her boy, man. So she don't want him out there fighting by himself. Sumire is like, no, I don't think we should chase Boruto. And Sumire asks Sarada to put yourself in Boruto's shoes, and has there been a moment where you reflected on his pain? Not just Boruto feelings, but mine too. And when I heard Sumire say that part of, put yourself in Boruto's shoes, and have you ever stopped to think about his pain? And I'm like, Sumire, I get what you're saying, and I respect your feelings, my girl. But for you to say to Sarada, have you ever stopped and reflected on his pain? Nah, shorty, no. Like, the fandom, we know what Sarada's going through in terms of helping Boruto. We've seen it, and so like for her to say that, I couldn't agree with that part. Like, of course she's reflected on Boruto's pain. Come on, Sumire, how could you say that? How could you say that, man? How could you say that? It's like, I get what you're saying. I just didn't like that part, man. I didn't like that part because we know what Sarada's been through. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Boruto, we know what she's been through. We know what she's been through. So for her to say that, like, nah, no, I can't agree with that. And she's like, not just thinking about Boruto's feelings, but mine too. I like Boruto a lot, and you just ran into his arms. And I'm like, again, she hasn't seen this dude for 3 years. Everybody, he's public enemy number one in the whole Shinobi world right now. Public enemy number one. And he comes back safely from 3 years. And you think she's not going to run to her best friend and hug him? Like, yeah, you were there, pretty much an afterthought. I get that, Sumire. I understand you're being put on the back burner. You're being forgotten about. I get all of that, but nah, man, no. Nah, man, you're like, I get it. You like him, Sarada likes him, and you see her running for a hug, but like, no. I just feel like you kind of like blew it out of proportion. You know what I mean? I understand your feelings. I respect them, but I feel like she just, you're blowing it out of proportion, my girl. You're blowing it out of proportion. You are. And then Ada, she's looking at all of this, and she's like, in her head, she's like, I'm having a blast watching this, like, and then Sumide's like, my bad for bringing it up at a time like this, you know, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of, like, this is not a good time for this right now. And she storms off, and Sarada's calling out to her, class rep, wait. And Sumide's like, how long am I just going to be class rep to you? So it's like, yeah, man. And then Sarada, she didn't cut her off or anything. She let Sumide rock. She let her get her feelings out. You know what I'm saying? She stood, you know, she let her get her feelings off. And yeah, man, but nah, man. Like I said, Sumide, she has the right to her feelings, and I understand them and I respect them, but I feel like she went a little overboard, you know? I feel like she went a little overboard. Then Ada, moving on, she gets a call from Shigemaru. Then we quickly cut to the village elders talking to the feudal lord, and he is pissed. He is pissed that Boruto got away and they wasn't able to kill Boruto. He's like, man, deal with Boruto immediately. Like, get him up out of here. You know? So he's just mad about that. He's pissed. So Shikamaru and Ada, they meet up. She's telling him about, you know, Shinki becoming a Shinju Ryu and his target being Gaara. Shikamaru, he's ready. You know, he's about to send a team. He's ready to send a team to the Sand Village. And she's like, that wasn't in real time. That was from a few hours ago. There is a Shinju that can look into my eyes when I'm watching with the Senrigan. So, and she is shook. It's the you know, the bug Shinju. You know, we've seen him. Yeah, he has her shook. She is scared. He has her shook, man. And she tells Shigemaru, she like, yo, do me a favor and don't ask me to watch them in real time no more. Don't ask me to watch them in real time, because, yeah, this dude got me shook. And he's like, okay. And she's like, I know you helped Boruto escape using Mitsuki. Shikamaru, he plays coy, like, I don't know what you're talking about, acting like he's clueless. And she's like, don't worry, I ain't gonna rat you out. And besides, I don't want to cause Boruto any trouble. Then Ada tells Shigemaru that Kawaki agreed to team up with Boruto, so let them handle it. Shigemaru tells Ada, Boruto has a mysterious accomplice. It's Kashin Koji, isn't it? And we already know, man, Shigemaru, he gonna get to the bottom of it, man. That intelligence is top tier, baby. He gonna get to the bottom of it. And lo and behold, on the back of Ada's neck is one of Kashin Koji's toads. He's talking to Shigemaru, telling him, send Sarada, send Konohamaru and Mitsuki to the Land of Wind to link up with 2 other Sand shinobi. And he tells Shigemaru, homie, whatever you do, do not let Himawari outside the village. Jura has set his eyes on her, and that's not good. he likes Konoha. So as long as she's there, it's not an issue. If he treat him like a regular customer, if he comes to the bookstore, treat him just regular. Do not provoke him under any circumstances, because if you do, Konoha is cooked. If you provoke Jura under any circumstances, there is no hope of winning. None at all. And I'm like, yo. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because we know Jura, he's one hell of a threat. So, Kashin Koji, he ain't capping in his rap on this one, boy. And he's like, we got to hit to avoid, he says, to avoid Jura intervening. We got to hit the other squad with the minimum force required. Because if Jura shows up, we got to retreat immediately. Then Kashin Koji tells Shikamaru, thanks for helping Boruto escape. Then we see Sumire. She's showing regret for, bringing up that situation with Sarada. She's showing regret, like, why did I say this? Then we see Sarada, Konohamaru, and Mitsuki arrive in the land of Wind, and they immediately spot Ryu and Matsuri. So it's both of them there together, and we see one of Kashi and Koji's toads that's dead, and Matsuri and Ryu is like, yeah, this sure is going to be a clue to lead us to Boruto. And man, oh man, what a chapter. I gotta ask, what did you guys think of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 16? Man, it was a good chapter. I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, but I know, man, we might get a little action in chapter 17, man. They pulling up to the sand. So we gonna chapter 17, yeah. I'm saying we might gonna see a little bit of action. So yeah, man. But this has been your man Rashad from the Variety Pack Podcast. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.